All right. Hello, YouTube, and hello, Prince George's County residents. Today I'm reviewing an article that was in the Gazette newspaper for Prince George's County, and it's dated Thursday, August 12th, 2012. The article is by Mr. Daniel J. Gross. He's a staff writer with the County Gazette paper. This article is titled Chief Officer Indictments Not Indicative of Poor Policing, and this is in reference to the two most recent indictments of Prince George's County police officers, and the chief is Chief of Police Magaw. I'm going to read this article word for word, and at the end I'll offer my opinion and thoughts on it. Here we go. Prince George's County Police Chief Mark Magaw wants to make it clear that despite two recent cases in which officers are facing criminal charges, the department has never been more transparent and accountable in his 20 years on the force. Day in and day out, 99% of the time, the police department does the right thing, but every once in a while something like this will occur, Magaw said of the two cases. Corporal Ricky 80, a 10-year veteran hailed as a hero for running into a burning apartment building to evacuate residents July 24th, was indicted 2 days later for allegedly threatening a 13-year-old boy at gunpoint during an August 4th, 2011 incident. Subsequently, Corporal Donald Taylor, a 13-year veteran, was given a criminal summons August 3rd for second-degree assault charges stemming from a February 3rd incident in Brentwood, where Taylor is accused of wrongfully charging a Cottage City man for attempting to grab his gun. Magaw said neither of the officers has pleaded guilty. Both officers were taken off of patrol and suspended with pay while they faced criminal charges in the Prince George's County judiciary system, Magaw said. They are prohibited from public contact. Magaw said the number of citizen complaints against police officers appeared to be higher this year than in prior years, but said he did not have statistics about the number of incidents available by press time. He did not have an explanation for why there is an uptick in cases, but said there are more policies in place now to handle claims of police brutality than there have been before. He noted having an executive review panel, a citizen oversight panel, a new computer system for filing and tracking complaints, and a new in-service training course that deal with situational behavior are new practices established since 2008 that have kept officers accountable. From 2004 to 2008, the U.S. Department of, I have to flip to the next page. The U.S. Department of Justice had been giving federal oversight on the department and its brutality claims. Magaw said the oversight ended after the department complied with a number of U.S. Department of Justice standards, such as installing security cameras inside police cruisers. Michael Passman, a DOJ spokesman, declined to comment Tuesday on whether the accounting incidents would spur additional review. Magaw said there is no longer a need for federal oversight because of new policies, training, and personnel. He said the department's Inspector General, Carlos Acosta, was hired in February and is a former prosecutor and U.S. Department of Justice attorney. Acosta continually looks at policies and procedures to make sure we are where we need to be in reference to DOJ standards, Magaw said. Acosta said the department has an open process regarding officer suspensions and reviews. He said citizen complaints against officers are better handled thanks to filing software that alerts department officials when an officer has a certain number of use of force incidents. We have 1,600 human beings. People make mistakes no matter how much you train, Acosta said. The question is, what can an organization do when you make mistakes? Delton Thurman, 54, of Upper Marlboro, and a citizen member of the Community Service Area Organization in Upper Marlboro, a community engagement safety council, said police departments need to focus more on training to prevent officers from abusing power. Delton added, in cases where officers draw their weapons, there has to be substantial reason for a life to be threatened. Being an officer, you have to use more restraint. If somebody is trying to bait you into doing something, you have to stay a level above that, he said. In municipalities, some police departments are reflecting on their own policies surrounding citizen complaints and police misconduct. On Monday, the Laurel Police Department, an agency with 67 officers, launched an internal investigation into an incident involving an officer allegedly hitting a handcuffed man in the face several times. Police Chief Rich McLaughlin was made aware after a shift supervisor discovered the officer had allegedly struck an apprehended man in the face, said Laurel City spokeswoman Corinne Kubek. I apologize if I mispronounced that name. Kubek, who said she had not heard of any other cases of police misconduct in the city in her 19 years as an employee, said the police department immediately initiated an internal review of the officer, who the city has not identified, and the incident in question to determine possible charges or suspensions. Bowie Police Chief Robert Nesky said it is unusual for the Bowie Department to need to suspend officers or investigate claims, although the process is in place. He said complaints of officer brutality are rare and noted there were 5 or 6 formal complaints filed in 2011. Most of the time we talk to the one filing the complaint over the phone, and we can find out that it's just the process that they didn't understand. It's a matter of explaining our police tactics and safety procedures, he said. In any group, you're going to have someone where everything runs... I apologize. In any group, you're going to have some people where everything runs smoothly and some where you hit a bump in the road. And that's why we have mechanisms in place. That is the end of the article. I'm going to return to the very front of the article. And I give my opinion. I find it disheartening that I'll just first start by saying that I find it disheartening that the police department will just say there will be misconduct. Misconduct of this caliber, this nature. Let's look at the incidents that are in question. 13-year-old boy is assaulted. He is shown a firearm held to his head. I mean, this is a child. Then you had the incident where a young man was, it was on the local news here, the young man was near a gas station. He was apparently walking towards it, and the officer came up from behind and tackled him and pistol whipped him and assaulted him and charged him with various crimes. And this young man ends up spending several months up in the detention center that's in the county, and just deprived of his constitutional rights. This young 13-year-old boy was deprived of his constitutional rights. So, and also, those two incidents were mentioned in the article. But let's focus on 2 other incidents that occurred. There was the college student from the University of Maryland. He was partying after the basketball game. I believe it was the University of Maryland versus Duke. And he was partying with them up there. And he was beaten by the Prince George's County Police. They gave their version. He gave his version. And mysteriously, the security camera run by the University of Maryland disappeared. Then the second incident, another incident, was down in Charles County where 2 Prince George's County police officers kidnapped a teenager, handcuffed him, drove him around, beat him up, and left him in a field. This is part 1 of this review of this article, but I'll end part 1 by asking, are these officers reading the Constitution? All right, this is part 1, and I'm cutting off. I'll come back with part 2 shortly.